August has been a destructive month. 4 major wildfires have burned nearly 200,000 acres or 300 square miles in Colorado. The Cameron Peak fire is burning uncontained in Poudre Canyon. The Williams Fork fire in Grand County is smaller, is 3% contained. The Grizzly Creek fire near Glenwood Springs is up to 33% containment, and fire crews say those lines are holding on the Pine Gulch fire that's burning north of Grand Junction. The second biggest wildfire in Colorado history is now 44% contained.
And 9 News reporter Noel Brennan has made it to Grand Junction. He joins us now. Noel, I know fire crews have not had a break from the hot, the dry, and the windy conditions.
No, they haven't, Tom, but the wind, thankfully, has been pushing all of that smoke away from town, so that is some good news. But it is still very hot out here. The fire has burned more than 137,000 acres. You mentioned the conditions out here. Hot weather, the dry weather, those windy conditions, that's what firefighters have been dealing with for weeks out here as they've been fighting the fire. It is burning in a remote area north of Grand Junction. Fire lines are holding on the east side of the fire. That's good news, but crews are still trying to keep the western edge of the fire from spreading. It has reached part of Highway 139, that's north of Fruta. This afternoon, we spent some time at the air tanker base in Grand Junction. We watched single-engine tankers land to refuel and fill up on retardant. At one point, there were 9 helicopters assigned to the fire and several air tankers and helicopters. Fire crews are making progress, though, especially overnight. They hope the weather cooperates with the rest of the week.
I think they're very optimistic. What they're seeing in the infrared flights is that we're seeing smaller and smaller pockets of active fire. There's still some hot areas out there, but they're pretty dispersed, and the lines that we've had in place seem to be holding. We've had minimal growth over the last couple days, and that's good news.
What does this place look like at night? So one of the big concerns right now is potential red flag conditions later on this week. Fire crews are worried when those winds align with the terrain and can get that fire moving out of control. Guys, that's something we saw happen last week when the fire grew nearly 40,000 acres in just one night.
Well, the good news, I guess, for many people is something we're about to talk about was your trip out there. So tell us really quickly about how it was getting from Gypsum out to Glenwood and seeing I-70 open again.
Yeah, Tom, we passed through that area shortly after it opened up this morning. And I will tell you, right before No Name, the exit on I-70 for No Name, you could see just the burn scar scorched right up to the edge of the interstate. It was something to see just how close that fire was. It was literally right up against the interstate.
All right, Noel, we'll talk to you a little bit more coming up at 5 o'clock. Now, as far as that trip Noel took along I-70, these are the images so you get an idea of what it looks like currently. I-70 reopening this morning in both directions after being closed for 2 weeks. And as Noel described, that burn scar, it's right there on the highway. Noel drove through it on his way to Grand Junction, so you can see the damage that was left behind by that fire as it comes up through the interstate. Of course, that's the Grizzly Creek fire, and Noel, of course, now out west with the Pine Gulch fire.
We're going to take a look outside from our camera on Lookout Mountain, and it is the image we've been seeing again and again. Smoke. We are just socked in with this smoke and this heat. Kathy is joining us from the Weather Center. I cough and tickle in my throat just thinking about it, Kathy.
I know, all of us are. Kim, grab
my eyes.
Everybody. We have not seen anything like it. This August is going to be one for the record books. You and I have both been here for decades. We've never seen fire weather like this, lasting this long. These record high temperatures, the smoke, the haze, and this poor air quality. But things are going to be changing and shifting as they always do, and we just have to hang in there for a few more days. Right now, 97 degrees in Denver. The record is 98, so we're just kind of right on the edge of that. Smoke and haze. You can't even see the foothills, very similar to what we saw yesterday and the day before. The heat continues across Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. The center of the high is producing some high-based, dry lightning, really, scenarios playing out over the higher terrain as these thunderstorms try to roll off the foothills. They're not producing the rain that we need. The rain is in the areas of green, but there are also the potential for some severe thunderstorm activity there as well. Humidity values 10 to 15%. The winds are shifting in the fire zones, the Pine Gulch fire and the Grizzly Creek fire. Light right now out of the north-northwest. Some pockets of heavier wind along the Front Range foothills and up near the Cameron Peak fire. But the wind expected to lay down tonight. Air quality alert, something we'll be tracking to see if it's reinstated tomorrow. There's a little bit of convection over the higher terrain, hoping to maybe see some showers from some of those high bay storms. That will be in the foothills and mountains, not here in Denver. Hot highs in the 90s until the sun sets tonight. And coming up in our main weather segment, we've got that relief coming. I'm going to talk about cooler weather and a chance for rain on more than one day.
Yay. All right. Thank you, Kathy. We now know the two brothers were killed in a parking lot in a shooting at a Walmart in Lakewood. We know their names. This happened last night outside the store on Wadsworth and Colfax. 18-year-old Damian Wyckoff and 17-year-old Dylan were shot. They were taken to the hospital where they died. Police called it an isolated incident and said that the public is still not in danger. They are still searching for the person who did this. If you know anything, you're asked to call Metro Denver Crime Stoppers.
It is August 24th, meaning that today marks 1 year since that incident with Aurora police that led to the death of Elijah McClain. Aurora police officers stopping the 23-year-old while he was walking home. They were investigating a report of a suspicious person. The officers put McClain in a carotid hold. Later, paramedics gave him an injection of ketamine. 3 days later, Elijah McClain died. In recent months, his death has become another example of what many consider injustice against people of color. There are now 7 separate investigations going into his death. And this morning on MSNBC, Governor Jared Polis spoke about the investigations with Stephanie Ruhle.
Just a couple of months ago, I assigned an independent investigator, our Attorney General, Phil Weiser, to investigate any crimes that were committed either by the police officers or the paramedics. I have full confidence that this independent process will lead to a prosecution if there is enough evidence to convict. And I really hope there is. The family deserves closure. There's also a civil lawsuit. As you know, Stephanie, the burden is less in a civil lawsuit. They simply need preponderance of evidence rather than beyond a reasonable doubt. But in any way, I've talked to the parents. There's no bringing Elijah back. We need to make sure that his legacy is seared in all of our souls and that it leads to meaningful police reforms.
Back in June that the governor signed a number of statewide police reforms into a law that he was talking about, including the mandates on wearing body cameras and making that footage public, as well as a ban on chokeholds and the ability to sue officers directly for their conduct. Though advocates say that is just the first step. They want more accountability and reform, particularly within the Aurora Police Department. People around the country are remembering Elijah McClain today, and that includes Broncos running back Philip Lindsay. This tweet from him today saying he's hoping for justice for McClain and his family, along with the hashtag added at the bottom, Black Lives Matter.
The city of Denver is cleaning up today after a weekend of protests that at times turned to riots. Things remained calm last night. People gathered for a second night near Denver Police Headquarters, calling for the end of the department. Officers were prepared in riot gear, and a counter-protest group also showed up, but things seemed to avoid anything physical last night. Saturday night, a much different scene. People smashed windows and threw fireworks toward officers. Police say about 75 people showed up armed, many dressed in black with shields and helmets. Police say one officer was hurt with a concussion and serious burns. He will physically recover from his injuries. In all, 12 people were arrested. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock says those people won't face any criminal charges. He wants them to pay for the property damage they caused, and they're working to find out how much that would cost.
The newest hotspot in the nation, though, Kenosha, Wisconsin. People have to clean up all across the state after videos on social media showed police in Kenosha shooting a black man in the back 7 times. It was the video of the shooting that prompted dozens of people to protest outside of the Kenosha Police Department, as well as at the state capitol in Madison. Video from overnight showing some of the smashed windows on business storefronts, as well as graffiti on public buildings, with officers dressed in riot gear. The man who was shot is named Jacob Blake. He's in the hospital, expected now to survive. Wisconsin's Department of Justice is investigating, though, at this point only saying that the officers involved are on administrative leave.
Those of you working or learning from home may have noticed an issue with Zoom this morning. The video chat service experienced a partial outage just before the start of the business or the school day. It's not clear what caused that problem, but as the video conferencing company has become such a critical service for so many during the pandemic, many people were not too happy to find out about it. All those important Monday morning meetings. And then there was a major problem for the schools around the country trying to start the fall semester in remote learning.
Of course, it would be today, wouldn't it? The two largest districts in the state of Colorado were doing just that, trying to get going. But as 9 News reporter Nelson Garcia now shows us, their experiences turned out to be vastly different.
Unable to get token for service account.
When you have one 9 News photographer with kids in Jeffco schools.
Yes, it's not working.
And another with kids in Denver.
You're seeing my screen, correct? Nod yes.
It's easy to capture the differences in remote learning on the first day of school.
Right now we are in a district-wide crunch.
I don't think some of the teachers are able to get in.
Van was supposed to be attending Arvada West High School.
What do you mean, Savo?
With his older brother, Savo.
I think it's sort of a representation of how this whole remote learning is going to go.
A lot of people were having the problem too, but we called in and they explained what to do.
Jeffco uses Zoom, Denver does not. The Zoom outage was a big reason one district had issues starting classes like many schools around the country, according to Metropolitan State University of Denver computer science professor Dr. Steve Beatty.
I will say, though, turning it around in 4 hours is pretty impressive, and that in general, Zoom has had 10 times more traffic than it was essentially initially designed for.
Beatty says companies like Zoom cannot replicate what it really will be like on the widespread reopening of schools.
The stress tests are hard to fake, if you will, but until an event actually happens, it's very difficult to predict all that can go wrong.
Or right. Denver has the most students in the state, yet it had few problems, according to spokesperson Winna McClain.
I wouldn't say surprised. I think that just the amount of work that went into planning this summer, making sure that we had a really robust remote learning program, making sure that we're doing everything we can to get devices into the hands of students.
Devices and systems that have limits, Beatty says.
There's nothing perfect, and computers aren't perfect, and the people who write the software aren't perfect, can't be perfect. And so there are going to be problems from time to time.
Problems, Beatty says, that will be fixed.
Everybody okay with that?
So kids can just focus on learning. With photojournalists Tom Cole and Anna Hewson, Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
It's complicated enough, right? Jeffco School's Chief Communications Officer Tammy Schiff told Nelson that the problems in the district were not from internal systems. It all stemmed from the outside vendor. She said that each individual school then communicated with its families and worked to resolve any issues. In addition, Jeffco Schools announced that people did hack into school Zoom meetings. The district stating, quote, "We had a couple of virtual class parent meetings interrupted by, quote again, bad actors who displayed various types of inappropriate material during the live sessions." The district plans to remind staff of proper protocols to try to keep online classroom sessions secure.
Oh, there's so many things. I've seen a lot of first day pictures, though, on social media, Tom. I just haven't seen the famous moms dancing and screaming because most of them are dealing with stuff like that. Okay, several other school districts across the state have already started the new school year with that in-person learning, kids actually in the class. COVID-19 also causing some problems for some of them as well. In just the first week of classes, 5 schools in our area had students or staff test positive, and they include schools in Weld County and Westminster. 4 of the 5 schools listed on your screen had to revert back to remote learning for groups of students who are now quarantined for 2 weeks. The case at Pine Ridge Elementary, though, did not lead to quarantine.